Hi, everyone. So great to have you with us tonight. And we have another interesting class for you that I really have no experience with. So what we're going to be doing is turning this over to the girls who have experience with this subject, and they will be teaching you about pets and essential oils. I have no pets. Since I started with Young Living, we haven't had pets. So I can be telling you other people's stories, but better to hear it from those who know. So we are going to start with Miss Sunburnt Brown. And then for those of you on Zoom, we're going to talk a little bit with Claudia. But let's go ahead and turn it over to Miss Sunburnt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. So today we're going to talk a little bit about pets and essential oils, and specifically the Young Living brand of essential oils. And I wanted to share, I have a dog, his name is Koa, and Koa is a mix, Ridgeback mix. He's hyper, he loves children, and he just is super excitable. So I wanted to talk a little bit about like some of those issues that sometimes you very well may have with your pet. Sometimes you might be dealing with issues that have to do with them serious separation anxiety, and when you leave the house and your pet, you come back, and I actually like to say that he cusses me out. He's like, where have you been? I thought something happened to you. So I like to insert what the dialogue really would be. Sometimes things get chewed up that shouldn't. Sometimes when it's like loud noises outside for whatever reason, right? Certain celebratory days of the year. We'll talk a little bit about that. So, and then one thing that I've been doing research on is what's they get a little itchiness in their paws, or on their skin. And so I want to talk a little bit about that, what that is, and how essential oils can help you. Why would they, we take them and we use them, but how can they really help my pet? So I really want to talk a little bit about that as well. All right. So oh, thank goodness. Okay. So you guys know that I am a Pinterest, and Young Living has a Pinterest page. So I try to do some of my research on that because it helps me when I need graphics. So I wanted to talk to you first about when your pet seems to be uh, seriously super energized, hyperactive, and you just don't know what to do with them. You can't lock them in the room, or you don't want to. So one of the number one that I like to use and that Koa loves is lavender. He loves lavender. He will smell it. He'll come a running. He licks the molecules. That's really all of what he does. So let me show you what I found. And I really wanted to find out too, what questions you might have in regards to your pet, because the one thing I really wanted to share is that I don't have cats, and so I don't know cats, but I do know that the one thing that I read that I thought was the most interesting is uh, if you use yourself as a diffuser, like you put lavender on and your pet doesn't like it, you start seeing certain types of behavior, physical reactions. That's a clue that it's just not going to work. You as a diffuser, right? You're wearing it. So I thought that was really interesting. If it's on in a room, a good rule of thought is leave a door open when you have the diffuser on. That way, if they're feeling any type of way and they have an exit strategy, right? They can get out. So if they come in and they take a couple of breaths and they're like, yeah, this is not for me, I'm going to be out. And then you're going to know. It's like, oh, they don't like that. And so there's an idea for you as well. Okay. So does anyone have any questions? And I'm stalling because I'm looking for something that I can't really find at the moment. Anybody have any questions on anything? Anyone?
I,
Bueller?
I have a graphic that I could share. I
Yes,
think
do that,
this is
Chris.
pretty neat that I found. It's called No Hitchhiker Spray. So take it for what it's worth with your pets. But if you would like them not to have any hitchhikers on them, Here's a little blend of essential oils. Can you guys see this? Hopefully it's good enough. Purification, citronella. I read a lot about citronella, cedarwood, Palo Santo, and thyme. So mix that all in a bottle and you can spray your pets with it and they'll come home hitchhiker free. I just thought I'd share that. As I go through, I got a lot of interesting graphics that I found, so I might be inserting them. Back to you, Rochelle.
Okay, good. Thank you. All right. So here is something that I wanted to share. Young Living has an animal scents line. And here is the graphic that goes with that. There we go. All right. For some reason, you know, this is how it goes, Chris. Because I have to do two things at once. Hold on, TV land. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Here we go. Hold on. Give me a second. Okay, here we go. Share screen. There we go. That's what I was trying to do. Okay. Okay. Hi, everyone. All right. This is what happens when you have live everything. Thank you, Chris, for that. Okay. So can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So the animal sense line, I love this because this is what we're dealing with, right? And more importantly, like in our yard, we have bark and the little pawpaw pads, you know, will run out there and sometimes they get splinters or just abrasive, right? So a couple of things that Young Living has is what's called Minwell. Minwell is a blend and it will help promote the healing process of any abrasions that they might get. And that's there. This is, again, specifically for that particular purpose. And then Repel Aroma is one of the things that I love too, because Chris was talking about, you know, things that hop on and take a ride. And we don't want them there because then they try to do things to us as well. Repel Aroma is what it's called. Repel Aroma. What does that do? Well, it does what we really want it to do. It's the things that hitch a ride and latch themselves on and cause itching and scratching and different things of that particular nature. And so what happens is that particular formula, it'll fend off any insects or bugs that naturally, in a natural way, without using harmful chemicals. Those chemicals, you know, what's interesting when you see the man running around your office building or even in your own personal yard, they're in a biohazard suit. If that concerns them, and it should concern us, and it should concern your pets as well. Sometimes, you know, when they come around and spray, they'll post, and what they'll say is, you know, be careful if you have pets. Well, there's a reason for that because it's a chemical and it can actually be harmful. And what I love about Young Living, that's not the case. It's all plant-based, it's healthy, and it's safe for your pet to use. So, but it's going to work. All right. And what else do we have? We have TOA. There are 6 in this line. TOA, it's created to help. It talks about emotional blocks. You know, it's not funny. It's a reason why, you know, Animal Planet does quite well. And there is a psychology for pets. I don't want to be throwing people's names out there, so I'm going to be really careful with that. But he's Hispanic and he's well known with dogs. He can talk to the dogs. The man is a genius. I always look at the TV and be like, Koa, pay attention to this. And then in our house, we always say the same thing. We need to get him to come to our house and deal with them. I'm sick of this behavior, you know. And then I break out a couple different essential oils and things calm down. But that is a wonderful thing to use. And then Pure Clean, it's, you know, what you would use when you want to prep a wound. We have our thing that we use as humans. Pure Clean is that as well. And then you also have, last but not least, Paralyze. I'm not really too super familiar with that. However, it has to deal with digestion. And so it helps with ensuring that his overall or the overall health and well-being of your pet is there. So those are the 6 things that are in that particular line. Here's what's interesting that I love that I found as well. You have a pet. That means sometimes you have issues that you really hope you didn't want to have with your pet. And that brings us to the stinky dog spray and some of the essential oils that you can use. All right. But what I want to share with you is the Thieves line. Now, you use that same particular bottle that they're showing there, put a cap full of Thieves in. So if somebody has an accident, sometimes that happens. I'm gonna go out on a limb. Sometimes when you're younger or when you're older, you have accidents. In this case, we're talking about our pets. And so here's some of the oils, and then the product you can use is Thieves. So pennies on the dollar, you can make a cleaning agent and follow up with an aroma that's going to help you get rid of what's lingering in the air. So stinky dog spray, I think this is funny. Now, I don't know if you guys have a pet. I'm using dogs as an example that has some type of bubble gut issue. And then all of a sudden, toot, toot, here it comes. And sometimes I'm thinking, what are you eating, tires? It stinks. What is that? And so here is where you've got a lovely blend that you can put together. It's got tea tree lavender, purification, citronella, and lemongrass. Put it in a bottle, throw in some water, and you're good to go. Just a couple of drops, easy enough. You can add more or less, right? What you're also going to get in regards to critters that might hop on Let's Ride is citronella, tea tree, and the lemongrass. Those are really great. They will not only help your things that are relatable to your dog, but things that fly in the air and irritate us as well. So there's that. Okay. What else do we have here? Oh, good grief. Here is a little note about not every single oil you would use around your pets or dogs. And so here are 7 that are considered safe for your dog or to use around your pet. They're going to tell you, but then not everything you can use. And I can't remember. I'm just going to stick with this list because I know there's a list of ones that you really should avoid. But I can't really, and I don't want to guess off the top of my head. So lavender, again, Koa loves lavender. He just loves it. Clary sage, eucalyptus, it's clearing. They have issues like we do when it comes to respiratory. Ginger, marjoram, orange. Ginger, again, we have it in the Vitality line, things that you can put and rub on their belly when they're not feeling 100%. And they're feeling wonderful. I've got things that are floating in the air in our house that I do not want to attach to me. And I'm doing my best to block whatever is out there. So I've been using one of the blends to help with that, Emu Power. And Emu Power has Mountain Savory and some other Vitality oils. And Koa keeps trying to lick. And I'm like, but he smells it. It smells like food to him. And so, but you can't get that. But it is interesting. They've got an olfactory that's way more powerful, millions than humans. And so dogs in that instance, they can smell and decipher much, much faster than humans can. So you have that. So I have somebody walking up to my front door. Claudia, can I skip to you really quick? Okay.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
And here's Koa.
So it has to stop sharing the screen.
Stop sharing. There we go.
There you go. Hey, everybody. So let me tell you why it's important that you care for animals, just like we do not want toxic ingredients for ourselves. Animals will succumb to toxic ingredients before we do. So for those of us that had a childhood in the 70s and the 80s, animals, dogs, cats lived longer in that time period than they do now, right? So there's animals that have seizures because of candles, because of air fresheners, and some dogs get super lethargic big, massive vet bills because toxic ingredients are not only a danger to us, and just for something to think about, remember miners used a canary to go in a mine? If there was toxic air in the mine, the canary would fall off the perch and the miners would know they needed to flee because an animal was the first one to let you know there's danger here. So I have 2 Yorkies. I have been using Young Living oils for over 10 years. And I want to tell you a little bit about my Yorkies. I didn't bring their picture so Chris could show it, but it's okay. On my page, I have tons of pictures of my Yorkies. My oldest Yorkie is 11. She has liver shunt issues that cost me more than what Suki was worth, but Suki was worth a pretty penny. My vet bills were through the roof. And something that I saw that was damaging to my dog was the flea medication she was on. When I put her on flea medication, she would vomit. She would get very sick. She would get very lethargic if she used medicine. And then Chris will let me know whenever we cut off, and then I'll talk more explicit. But when I started using Young Living products on Suki, it cut my vet bills in half. And at this point, I don't have a vet bill. I don't have vet bills compared to the thousands of dollars that I paid before because of the liver issues, because of a broken leg, I'm just going to talk today about the toxic ingredients, how expensive that was for me until I wisened up and I saw what my dog needed to use. Now, Rochelle had a list on things that were safe for dogs. So I want to give you what my personal story is. I use every single oil in the premium starter kit on my dogs. I have 2 dogs. Josie's the younger dog. Josie loves lavender. Josie loves whatever I put in the diffuser. Josie is fine. Josie's very relaxed. Suki loves only my expensive oils. Suki loves frankincense. Suki loves Daiji's. Suki loves Idaho balsam fir. And we had a crisis a few years back in Florida. We have these frogs that are called, I don't know what the name of the frog is. They're big, they're disgusting, they're poisonous. If anybody knows the name, what is it?
Bufo.
Can you say it one more time?
BUFO.
Yes, that's what it is. That's what it is. Okay. So Suki was outside. My daughter left her alone. Suki's about 3 to 4 pounds. She's very little. And she was outside. It was a beautiful day. My dogs love to play outside, but this particular day she was left out too long. When we found her, we thought she was dead. There was a lot of foam around her mouth. Her eyes were open. She was stiff as a board. So there was mass hysteria in the house. I rushed Suki to the vet, and my daughter said, "She's dead, Mom. She's dead. She's dead." And Suki's eyes were fixed open. So I had a bottle of frankincense, and I would hold it near Suki's nose, and I was rubbing frankincense on her head, and I saw her pupils react. And I said, "She's not dead. She's not dead. She's still here." So we rushed her to the vet. The nurse at the vet says, "Did you put tea tree on this dog?" And I said, no, because by this time, I already know how great my dog is doing with essential oils. I have a vet book. I'm very confident in what I do. This particular time, there was a lot of hysteria over tea tree oil, and that's a separate discussion all on its own. There's a lot of tea trees oil that I would not use on my dogs. But for those of you that are pet owners, remember when the shampoo was tea tree? Remember? Tea tree oil, the real stuff, has amazing benefits for our animals. But if you have a toxic, cheap crap oil, then yeah, that becomes a hazard because of synthetic ingredients and because of maybe not using the proper blah, 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 blah. But when you look at the pet oils that Young Living has, and if you look at the ingredients, these are oils that are designed for animals. Take a look at some of the oils that are in some of these blends. And you'll get to educate yourself and say, oh, this can be used on my animal. So anyway, I told the nurse, no, it's not tea tree. Frankincense is not tea tree. And I said CBD. And this is the nurse. Oh, good, CBD. Which that's the wrong response as well, because if you don't have quality CBD, you could kill an animal. But I didn't say anything. I didn't argue. Suki had to stay in the vets during the day because her mouth would not open. Everything was locked. So they had to feed her intravenously. And at nighttime, I would bring her home. I was very grateful for my vet. I just want to tell you, I love my vet. So when I would bring my dog home, I would put the oils that were her favorite, the Idaho balsam fir, the frankincense oil. And I would see by her eyes, I would see by my dog's eyes, she was like, thank you, Mom, thank you. And every day, it took about 3 days, the stiffness was moving away. Her eyes were animated. She looked alert. The last thing to go away was she had trouble to open that jaw. But when the stiffness and the poison went all the way out, I think it was by day 3, it was almost like a resurrection. The jaw opened and I didn't have to take her to the vet anymore because she was eating and drinking appropriately. And I want to tell you, I'm so grateful for the vet for the intravenous stuff, but I am so grateful for what I had in hand because I saw her brain react immediately to the oils because my girls and my family thought I had a dead dog. So I have so many experience to tell you, and I'm going to as soon as Chris stops recording.
Okay, so let me go ahead and show you a few more graphics and then we can ask Rochelle if she has anything else for us. So this is just something that I grabbed. A lot of people are like, oh no, you can't use any essential oils around birds. But I personally know several people who have birds. You just have to not lock an animal into an area where they can't get away if they want to with any essential oil. But Young Living essential oils are plants, trees, shrubs, flowers, they're nature. And animals are used to nature. So with Young Living, you don't have to feel that way. Like this picture of George is showing. And I just have a few more little graphics I'm going to go ahead and show you. And then we'll see if Rochelle has anything else that she wanted to share with you.
And
This
I
is-
do have a bird breeder on my team, a very, very expensive bird breeder. So she does diffuse for the birds regularly, and she does clean the cages with the thieves. Her birds are gorgeous and they're top dollar.
Nice, nice. And that's another thing, make sure you have a nice cleaner that's not toxic. So using the thieves cleaner would be perfect around your pets. We know the pets are on the ground too. So whatever you use on your floor, why not use thieves household cleaner? Then you know you have something that's pure. Keep your animals safe. This is just a little graphic. The animal sense ointment, I know people like that to use themselves. So that's another idea for you. The stress away to calm down. People also love a shampoo for their pets that's clean. That's very, very important. So Young Living has a animal shampoo, which is something that you might think about if you have pets, and purification is good. Like Rochelle was saying, ginger is great too. Just one more blend I have for you guys here. Let me bring it up. It is a calming blend that you can mix up for your pets. We're getting
Chris?
to the end of the year. Go ahead.
Chris, just one question on that last video, that last picture. Are those oils okay for service dogs? Okay,
Yep. Any kind of an
And-
animal. The only thing is just like humans. Rochelle was saying if they run the other way, don't use that particular oil. It's like something they don't like, obviously. And don't ever lock them in a room if you have a diffuser going. But you can put them in when you put one of the things I was reading about, you all who have pets probably know this, you just put it on their paws. You can put it on their paws. Claudia, you were saying the back of the ears. Is that another?
I use it, you can put an oil where it's needed. Some things that I do with my animals, especially because you have a service dog, put the oils on your clothing Because remember that the oil by itself is very, very strong. So there's sometimes Suki will run from me. Like she hates lavender. I respect what she says about lavender. But if I put certain oils on me, certain animals will go up to you, they'll lick it, they'll eat it. So you can let your animal know, because animals know what they need. Animals know what they need. So Digees is a favorite in this household when there's a belly issue, and I put some on my hands and then I put it right over their belly. If you look up YouTube videos of Young Living oils and animals, you can run it through their fur, right? And you're not chasing them. Just have it diluted. You can run your fingers through their fur. You can let them touch it. A lot of times an animal will lick it. I know Josie licks her nose when I open up an oil bottle, but I know she tastes it because she's smelling it. Do you understand? It's like, it's such a powerful fragrance, and she sticks her little tongue out. Of course, I'm doing Josie. Thank goodness I'm not on camera, but she's sticking her tongue out because she can taste the oil. She can taste it. That's how powerful her nose is. So you want to diffuse less, have doors open, but you'll see that your animal, when it's in need, your animal will respond favorably. The vet videos and my personal experiences with horses, I have so many videos of me opening up a bottle of oil and having the most expensive horse following me out because of my bottle of oil. When we went to the farm, Chris was there too. Their luxurious, gorgeous horses have an oily routine, and the horses would try to get in our bags. Do you remember that, Chris?
Yep.
Or they would chew our hair because we all wore oils in our hair. So you don't have to be afraid. That's the one thing that I love Young Living so much about. It makes me very confident with my animals, and you'll notice a difference in your vet bill.
There you go. So I'm going to turn this back to Rochelle, whatever she wanted to share, and then we'll say goodbye to everybody on Facebook tonight.
Okay. Hi. Okay. So I found one graphic that I really love. We all have VitaFlex points, you know, whether it's your nerve endings right in your hands or your feet, down your spinal column. Well, our pets, in particular dogs as well. So let me share this with you. I found this. So this is theirs. And I thought this was really, really cool. And of course, it highlights all of the Young Living Animal Sense blends. And it tells you in which, whether it's the right paw or the left paw, what you can do. So sinuses, right between, straight the middle of those two main paw pads, their eyes. And then I just thought this was extremely interesting. So if you are going to be using some of the oils and you're going to be massaging it into their little paw, I'm using my hand, but I can't help it because I feel like it's almost the same. But there you go. You can start to massage, you know, the issue that they very well might be dealing with. And it gives you some oils to use as well. Claudia already talked about it. Frankincense. I like lavender. Peace and calming and lavender together. Lemongrass, patchouli. And so those, and you know, depending on what your situation is or the pet, you can massage and just, you know, get them to calm or to get the situation to calm down just a little bit faster by utilizing their, I can't even think of what the word is now, but their
Vita points.
Thank you, VitaFlex points. Oh, my brain is frozen. Okay, so there you go. So I really appreciated that. Now, so who has pets out there? I can't really see, but we have more ladies logged on than I thought we really would have. Thank you, Christine. You know, some people have dogs, but this is the time of year where you hear the stories where the dog ate the plant and it made him sick to his stomach. Or eating things like chocolate. Chocolate is a no-no. It doesn't really want to stop Koa from trying to eat it, but you know, he really will try. eating things off of trees that are inside of houses, the sparkly little things. And so you have different things like that. And then what if it's things like you're having company, right? And so maybe there's a little bit of anxiety there because there's so many people that are in the house. All they see are needs, right? And they're hyper and they're active. Well, here's a couple of blends that I found that you actually might like. I also have, yeah, there's a recipe for something. Let's see. I can't seem to log in to my other account. So that's kind of bugging me, but the show must go on. All right, so we have a couple of diffuser oils.
Come here,
And
here.
is the dog
Here.
barking? And it's not coming up. It wants to make me a liar.
Well, while she's looking for that, I just
Here we
want to
go.
share. Claudia is going to share something with us in a few minutes about scanning for all of you watching on our page here and those of you who are on Zoom with us. And I do want to tell you before I forget, next week we're going to talk about cleaning up for the new year.
Oh, got it. Okay. So essential oil for pets. So Claudia talked about it, Digize. Maybe not applying it internally. Again, a drop or two, rubbing it on their stomach. Peace and calming. Don't forget their ears. Sure, you have the Phytoflex points in their paws, but what about rubbing on their ears, right? And that's one thing I do. I take a drop or two, I do this, and then I start massaging it into the dog's ears. That's one way. And then, of course, let's not forget just inhaling a little tint like we would. It's really no different. Peace and calming, lavender, just to kind of pull them down. You know what I couldn't find, but I know I could have swore, Chris, we had talked about it, is I thought one of the ladies in our community put Ningxia in the dog's water. And I hadn't done that.
I
And I'm
think
gonna
that
be
would
honest,
be-
I don't know
think it would
about
be
if I'm gonna share
Claudia.
my Ningxia with the dog, but I've heard of them doing that. Go
You
ahead.
do it by a capful.
I think it would be Claudia.
I do it all the time. So if your dog has liver issues, gut issues, the Ningxia Red is amazing. I could talk a little bit about the supplements, but I'll wait until we stop recording.
Okay. So you have that. So I really like that. One of the things I read too is respiratory issues. RC is really good for that. Everything, I can't remember. No, RC is not in the starter kit. It's Raven. But it's got this blend. So again, things you want to be really mindful of, but it helps them to be able to breathe, right? And to get those things. And sometimes, our pets get things too, but that's one thing that to be mindful of. Let's see. Oh, look, I found something about cats. Okay, let me click on this because I know a lot of people, they've talked, they'll ask, well, what about cats? I love cats, but I don't have a cat. So there you go. So essential oils for pets, dogs and cats. So dogs, okay, let me do this. Dogs can have rosemary, On Guard, that's Young Living, it's part of the Animal Sense collection. Lavender, frankincense, Terra Shield, Breathe, Digest, Zen. I don't think that's ours. No, those aren't ours. So let's take a look at rosemary, frankincense, and lavender. And then for cats, rosemary, frankincense, lemongrass, helichrysum, spearmint, clary sage, and myrrh. And I was right, but I didn't want to say it. Peppermint is the one that neither one can have. So definitely no peppermint, no pine, no tea tree. Claudia already said that. Cinnamon.
Oh, my dogs use tea tree. We use tea tree on our dogs because it's in the Young Living blends.
Ah,
Yeah.
very good. That's right. Oh, so let's talk about that. You know, just like
If
we're
you're-
careful
if
about
you're-
what we put in on our bodies, same thing with your pet, know your product.
Yes.
And if you've got a product, and that's the one reason why I actually love Young Living products, because it's not just their philosophy, it's the way that whatever everybody at the top of echelon of Young Living, what they're using in their house and their families on themselves is what I'm using. I don't get anything different than what they get. They don't get the best of it. We're sharing and we're getting all the same top quality product. And I love that. And so you try the tea tree, and your pet doesn't have an issue. Koa, I mean, that dog, he's got a cast iron stomach. But you know, if you try it and if it's quality, right, you know that the soil that it's in, and you know how it's being farmed. We've got at least 3 ways in which we're testing not only the soil but the product. So, you know, I haven't had the pleasure to use tea tree. I'm gonna use it tonight. I'm gonna try it and see what happens. Okay, and then you have clove, wintergreen. So just things. I love peppermints at the top of that list. Not to have peppermints. So there you go. Anybody have any questions on anything so far? Okay. Well, Chris.
Well, I think we're setting it up for next week, but before we say goodbye to the rest of you listening, Claudia wants to share something about scanning.
Did we stop recording?
No, do you want to say something about the Zytoscan? So those who are out there,
I'll
They
say
know
the
what it is.
Zytoscan privately. I'll say
Okay.
the, I'm not allowed to talk about it with Young Living.
oh, okay, didn't know. All right, so let's say goodbye to everybody on Facebook. Have a great week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll talk about cleaning up next week.